Here to talk to me about how the federal dollars get doled out disproportionately to white people, leaving little for the rest of us, is Chauncia Willis, CEO and co-founder of the Institute for Diversity and Inclusion in Emergency Management, where she works to help bridge the gap between emergency management and social equity issues. Chauncia, thank you so much for being here on Amplified. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of this uneven disaster relief system, you've been working hard to close this wide gap in emergency management, and I would like you to just tell us a little bit more about the work that you're doing.
Outstanding. Well, thank you so much for having me here. I really appreciate it. Our organization is one that is focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion before, during, and after disasters. Our work is primarily focused on educating and raising awareness. A lot of people don't know that the disaster economy is built on the backs of disaster survivors. And unfortunately, that means that there's a disproportionate amount of Black and Brown folk who are paying the bills for everyone else with their pain.
Ooh. So I think that a lot of people were going to expect you to just start off saying, oh my God, when there's a storm, we try to figure out how to clean up and rebuild for the Black people. But this idea of who is profiting off of pain is really the heart of the heart. And I'm so glad that you just made that plain for us all. This summer, the New York Times published an investigative piece, as they do, that revealed the depths of disparity when it comes to disaster relief. A white family gets $10,000 more in help from the government than a Black family actually gets. And they live in the same area where both were hit by Hurricane Laura and had the same damage. So could you break down for us this disparity in relief amount? Why did white people get more than Black people when it was the same amount of damage?
Well, that's an excellent question. And the truth of it is we must address the implicit bias that these inspectors, these appraisers bring to the table. In some cases, we've heard where after a major disaster, the inspectors don't even go into the homes before they deny it. They assume that African American communities that have suffered because of redlining and other forms of banking discrimination, they assume that those communities are already dilapidated and have housing stock that is undervalued. And so the inspectors who have not been trained in cultural competency or cultural sensitivity bring their bias to the workforce. They bring the bias to the disaster. And so what you see essentially are the disparate outcomes that negatively impact communities of color, lower income communities, and it impedes their ability to recover in a timely fashion. And it's unfortunate, but it keeps happening over and over again.
Now, FEMA has a formula for how it distributes help, right? Like who's going to get help, how you're going to get help, etc. And I wonder, what is this formula, and how does the recovery system actually perpetuate housing segregation? You just brought up redlining.
Mm-hmm. That's an excellent question. That's an excellent point. I'm glad you're thinking about this, and I wish that everyone would think about it this way, because this is the heart of it. Disasters change communities. Disasters change lives. Disasters change voting, redistricting. I mean, disasters have major impact, and people don't realize that. A lot of voter suppression occurs after major. Everyone is looking at the disaster and not paying attention to what's happening in other areas of policy. So with the cost benefit analysis, neighborhoods made up of more affluent white homeowners, not renters, homeowners, tend to receive more value and more assistance to rebuild and recover after disaster. Overwhelmingly, African American, Latino communities, indigenous lands are undervalued. And so they do not receive the same amount of recovery assistance. They do not receive dollars to assist with some of the basic needs that would allow them to, for example, have a roof. And so when community that recovery, many times those communities suffer, and they suffer in a way that is compounded by disaster. So each disaster, they're suffering even more and getting further behind until you begin to see negative generational impact. And that is what creates a
Mm.
huge divide in the wealth gap between blacks and whites, and really whites and everyone else in America, right? And it's unfortunate. And as the previous guest said, it's about anti poverty bias. America has never really
Mm.
supported or really liked poor people.
No, no, not at all. We kind of think, oh, yes, everybody pulls themselves up by their bootstraps and, forget those poor people who don't have any bootstraps to pull themselves up by. But something you just said really struck me, and it makes me think about the cause of migration patterns, if you will. When you have these disasters and this damage, people have to leave, their communities behind and move elsewhere, and that does impact the demographics and shift the demographics. So I wonder, how you see the counting happen with regards to like people moving to other places or not. How are people falling through the cracks when disaster strikes, and then we don't even know what happens to them after the fact?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's called disaster gentrification. And you may have seen it if you've ever been to New Orleans and you go back post Katrina and you're like, wait a minute, this used to be a majority minority city. What happened? And all of a sudden you see now that it's no longer majority minority. And that's called disaster gentrification. It's where after a major disaster, the federal government actively works to get people out of that area, and it's disproportionately focused on people of color. So next week, in about a week, I'll be going back into Louisiana to work with tribal nations. And one of the things that we hear around the
Mm.
country when our equity response teams go into these disaster locations, one thing that we hear consistently is the government wants us to leave. They want us to relocate.
Mm.
And in this case, when you're dealing with tribal nations that have been there since the beginning of time, in some cases, since the beginning of recorded history, they are saying, we've been here for
Yeah.
centuries. Why would we need to leave? And why do they want us to leave our
Mm.
coastal lands? And so what
Hmm.
happens is after they
And more
leave,
importantly, who's going to
that's
take
when
that land?
yes,
Yep.
absolutely. Hmm.
I mean,
You
that's
got it.
crazy because when these disasters happen, the land gets devalued, right? Because of the damage and the cleanup that's required. And then who swoops up and takes this really beautiful prime land that has been deemed undervalued and gets it at like pennies on the dollar and then flips it around? I understand now what you mean when you say gentrification. That's a really
Hmm.
unfortunate phenomenon, to say the least. I want to go back to something that you just mentioned, though. You were talking about all that happens with regards to property owners, to homeowners. What actually happens to
Hmm.
renters?
Oh, well, it's unfortunate. There's a disproportionate representation of African Americans and other people of color that are renters. Our banking system within this country is based off of a racial hierarchy that is absolutely structured to be biased against people of color. And it's still in practice today, even with the fair housing policies. There's still a lot of discrimination and bias and redlining that still occurs. And so when we talk about renters, it's unfortunate, but renters are treated somewhat as transients, transient people, like they're not connected with their community and they could easily be moved to a different location. Figure it out, move them. And so what happens, our entire emergency management system is based on the support of white homeowners and businesses. And so that's kind of the default setting. Who is a homeowner? And so our applications,
Mm-hmm.
our policies, and a lot of what we are operating with, and when it comes to emergency management, is based on the affluent homeowner or landowner or property owner. Everything has to be tied to ownership of something. And you saw that, unfortunately, this is historic. This is based off of a
Mm-hmm.
history
Mm-hmm.
of
Yep.
disaster bias. So
So FEMA, of course, will say we're not racially biased, but clearly they have a very deep class bias that also intersects with race. What is the Biden administration doing to reverse all this?
I'm absolutely enthusiastic about the approach that the Biden administration has taken. They have prioritized equity and made a requirement for federal organizations to really understand equity and implement and operationalize equity. Now, the unfortunate part is many organizations don't know what equity is and how it differs from equality. And so it takes organizations
Wow.
like ours, the Institute for Diversity and Inclusion in Emergency Management, to come in and provide cultural competency training and to, provide assistance in understanding how to operationalize equity before, during, and after disasters.
Well, we will see if Biden's FEMA can turn this around. Chauncia Willis, CEO and co-founder of the Institute for Diversity and Inclusion in Emergency Management. I have just learned so much and enjoyed this conversation. Thank you for coming on Amplified. We appreciate you.